And China announced a new round of military exercises near Taiwan today. This comes after a weekend of weapon demonstrations near the self-governing island. The drills are in protest of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last week. Beijing says China is conducting normal military exercises in what it calls its own waters. And China's fresh round of military drills are raising concerns that Beijing will continue to maintain pressure on the island's defenses and risk the possibility of a mishap. Patrick Falk is covering the story for us from Beijing. Patrick, what more can you tell us about the new round of drills that China launched near Taiwan today?
Well, look, it's a concerning development because it really does create a lot more uncertainty about the situation, precisely because there is so little detail about what these drills are all about. The PLA's Eastern Theatre Command issued a statement today saying that the operations were focused on anti-submarine drills as well as sea assault drills, but it didn't provide any further detail on where exactly it was all taking place and how long it might last for. And that may mean there are various implications for air routes and shipping routes. It's unclear how that might be affected for the time being. But one of the things that was interestingly raised today, the Foreign Ministry was pressed on whether China had informed relevant parties in accordance with regular international protocols about what was happening. Spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that Taiwan is part of China and the military operations that had taken place had been open and transparent and that it was all according to international law. And some may have taken that as China alluding to a possible situation where it continues to only give limited warning about these sorts of military drills in future, which would constitute a significant attempt to alter the status quo.
China has also defended itself for pulling out of various communications in place with the U.S. What are their officials saying about that?
Yeah, well, as we've heard many times before, the Defense Ministry reiterated that this was a situation that was provoked by the U.S. on its own initiative and that the U.S. must bear responsibility for the serious consequences. We've heard a lot of this before, but it is really a concerning situation because a lot of people see these dialogues as the only guardrails in place to stop that relationship between Washington and Beijing falling apart altogether. And, China also doesn't seem to have taken kindly to the criticism that's been directed towards it over its military actions and the finger pointing towards it, as Beijing has put it. And, it's now got this narrative which seems to say essentially that the U.S. has touched its bottom line and therefore it can respond in any way that it wants.
So much for that update, Patrick. Patrick Falk in Beijing.